Joe Madureira is a new artist to me. I wasn't an X-Men fan when he was drawing the book. And so I'm sort of discovering his work in this book, and he's amazing. In fact, I brought evidence of how amazing he is in the very first whole issue of Avenging Spider-Man, right here.
Are you just going to mock people with that today?
I'm going to mock you with it.
What are you doing after this?
Can I mock you after?
Can I, mug you after?
I don't need to mug me. I don't think mugging is a vaguely double entendre term. I think she wants to beat me up. It's very New York. Are you a Joe Madureira fan?
Yes, I am.
Are you a Spider-Man fan?
Yes, I am.
Get up here and read this comic book. You can sit.
Wow. That's not a new rock and roll.
You can sit right here and read this comic book. You can't take it back to those people.
And you said the promise not to spoil anything online, okay?
All right, she'll be here. What's your name? Andrea. All right.
Andrea, if we have any tough questions, you're answering them.
You're answering them.
Any question about one more day, you answer them.
I'm so old. Joe Madureira was a high school intern when I worked at Marvel.
Yeah. I would definitely say that.
That is really old.
Okay, so Avenging Spider-Man, guys, seriously, pre-order, read it. This is a really awesome book. Andrea will tell you that in a moment when she's done.
No pressure. No pressure.
Now, how many?
Oh my God, she wet herself.
How many of you know what Rick Remender's doing on Venom?
Are you guys liking Flash as Venom?
Steve accidentally first announced Flash Thompson as Venom. People are like, oh, of course it's going to be Flash. Oh, that sucks. And then you will not find you'll find very few people online who do not love Flash Thompson as Venom. And I think that credit again goes to Steve, his office, and the talent, and the group of guys he puts together, who have found a way to put a great spin on old ideas. And Venom's never been more exciting. We have some exciting stuff coming up, including popping a wheelie on a motorcycle. So, Steve, what's in the aftermath of Spider Island? What does that all mean for Venom?
Well, at the end of Spider Island, Venom's status quo was completely changed, and as he goes off in a different direction, he's got to leave town, and I think we can say he's stolen the symbiote.
Yeah, no, he's on the run. You may notice the letter A on his head. He has a little bit of a fight with someone. I heard someone mention Eddie before. So y'all like symbiotes a lot? Calm down, that's too enthusiastic. This year is huge for symbiotes, and but Venom's on the run. He has a road trip with someone you would not expect, and
my aunt.
With Steve's aunt. No, he and let's see, Jack Lane right now. And then
well, you just did.
I did. Well, no, the microphone. I was pulled back.
I'll say one thing. Steve once had an idea for a road trip comic that would involve, I could say, Ghost Rider and Daredevil, and the whole joke was that Daredevil wouldn't know why his face is on fire because he couldn't see. Yeah. Steve loves his road trip ideas.
What's happened with Venom is that you guys have made it one of our biggest launches in years, and there's big stuff coming for Venom over the next year. The symbiote is going to start affecting Flash Thompson, and the symbiote is going to become a major player in the Marvel Universe. Rick and Zeb have been talking. Zeb also writes the book we're going to talk about in a second, the Carnage USA miniseries. So a lot of these threads are going to start coming together.
I will say right now, if any of you go buy the first Venom hardcover, you don't like it, find me at the show, and I will honestly give you your money back for it if you just give me the hardcover.
So if you find it for if you find it for $5, just give your money back.
No, but it is one of the best books we're putting out. So
before we go to the next slide, can we have a special guest up here? Even though he's not working on Spider-Man. I want to bring up a friend of ours, Steve McNiven, the artist of Civil War. Invited him to sit with us because I like him. He can answer all your Spider-Man questions.
When are you drawing Spider-Man again?
Hopefully Tuesday.
Right, now moving on from Venom to a not entirely unrelated subject. Ooh, what's that?
That's the worst costume in history.
I know. I was like, okay, no. That was his best costume. Now, as you guys may or may not know, Steve also edits a ton of other really awesome books. We're going to open the door to Daredevil. This is, and I will say this, and I know everyone said, this I think is my favorite book, comic book, any genre, any company in the industry. Every issue is even better than the last. It doesn't seem possible. And
Even better than Captain America right now?
I'd say you're, yeah. Every convention I say, you find an issue of Daredevil you don't like, you don't even have to give it back to me, I'll give you your money back for it. I'll even give you twice the cover price back for it, because unless you are dead inside, there's no way you don't like this book.
Colin's gonna sell his comics with his comps.
This is absolutely an amazing book, and I think not only is Mark Waid, I think one of the greats, period. You have one of the best artistic teams you could ever imagine in Paulo Rivera and Marcos Martin. We should have a round of applause for these guys. They push comics. I should also mention, if you like Captain America, they have one of the seminal Captain America artists of all time, Mr. Steve McNiven.
No.
Again? So, Mr. Mark Waid jumps in with the amazing Emma Rios. If you see her at the convention, tell her how amazing she is. She never believes it when we say it to her, but you guys, and from art, is it Kano or Kano? Kano. They joined forces for a crossover between Amazing Spider-Man and Daredevil. I don't know, Steve, how much you want to say about this, but I'll leave it up to you.
I don't want to say too much in it, but I can tell you that Black Cat kicks their asses. And then Spidey hangs upside down on a fire escape.
The cover is reversible.
I was considering just flipping the covers for each part, but I thought
If you
that
buy
was
enough,
cheap.
we'll do a second printing where we flip it.
Mark had been on Amazing Spider-Man when we had the group of writers, the Webheads a few years ago, working with Dan. And they had worked out some story beats together, and we gave Mark sort of carte blanche to run with this one. It helps Dan sort of recover from Spider Island a little bit. But these are two of the best characters to bounce off each other in the Marvel Universe, so this one's going to be pretty fun.
And there will be a really good repercussion of something between Amazing and Daredevil going on. So if you're a big Amazing fan, you got to check this out. And if you're Daredevil,
Spider-Man will be blind, and Daredevil has his sight back. Again?
in a destroyed New York.
In a destroyed New York. Everyone gets blind powers.
Where current is
And next, how many of you have read Greg Rucka's Punisher? Greg Rucka probably is the most dangerous man in comics, other than Assad Ribic, who I met today, who would probably just punch you if you're mean to him. He looks like a tough guy, but Greg's scripts are so intricate with details on how to kill people in the most precise way. We talked about, there's a scene in the first issue where Punisher, stabs some guy, slits some guy's throat. In the script, there's excruciating detail from Greg on how you would stab someone and exactly where so they can't scream. I don't know how Greg knows it.
I need a stiff drink after everyone was
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to know how Greg knows it, but man, is he awesome.
And at the bottom of the page, there's a little note for his page rate raise at Marvel.
And Marco Picchetto, is that the name?
Marco had been working with me on Daredevil before our relaunch, and I thought his work had a great sense of place and grit, and it just felt really thick, and I think it fit for Greg's take on the Punisher, which is, if you've been reading it, our sort of take on the Punisher, and sort of my feeling going into taking over the book, at least in the Marvel Universe, Punisher was, after 25 years, I'd had enough of the War Journal, and Frank was actually one of the most talkative people in the Marvel Universe, because you were always inside his head and always knowing his thoughts, and Greg has stripped all that away, and I'm not sure he said more than 2 words at this point.
I think you've described him as a force of nature now. It
Yeah.
seems like a very accurate way to describe what he's doing in this book.
All he cares about is killing a bad guy. He doesn't care about what he's going to eat for dinner. He doesn't eat, this is Greg's wording, but he doesn't eat because he's hungry. He eats because he has to, because it's time to eat. And that's he's sort of like the shark in Jaws. Not the Jaws 2 shark, because he was sort of a jerk.
Now that cover though, tell us about who did that cover.
Now that cover, we have an issue coming up by Michael Lark, the Eisner Award-winning Michael Lark. Greg and Michael just did a Captain America story for me last year, and they won an Eisner for it. So we're getting them back together. They worked on Gotham Central back at DC back in the day. One of the best books at DC.
And if you guys like Greg's Punisher, I implore you to check out his Queen and Country from Oni Press. That is an amazing, amazing series. So, Steve also has some other amazing books, like the newly he just acquired, Moon Knight by Brian Michael Bendis. Absolutely. How did you read Moon Knight? Yeah. Steve, so this is sort of a crazy book. I never know what's going to happen next. So.
You and me both. That is a weird book about a crazy man who believes he's the Avengers. So it's about all of you, really. I can't say much about this. I can say that we were just talking about issue 9, right? And what Brian's going to do in that issue, what Brian and Alex are going to do in that issue, bummed the hell out of me.
Steve McNiven, what would you do with if you were writing Moon Knight or drawing Moon Knight? What would you do? What do you think should happen in Moon Knight?
I just give it over to Alex, to draw.
And then moving on, Ghost Rider from Rob Williams and Lee Garbett. It's a pretty awesome cover. What's coming up for Ghost Rider, Steve?
Well, I imagine Hawkeye is shooting an arrow at Ghost Rider's flaming head.
You're gonna go through its eye?
I think so, if his aim is right.
So if you guys have been reading Ghost Rider, you'll know there's now there's a new host for the Spirit of Vengeance. Johnny Blaze is very much a part of the book, but there's a female Ghost Rider now. So certainly a different dynamic than we've seen before. Do you want to
Right now, the power of Satan is in a teenage girl from South America. Not from Canada, because she wouldn't do anything. She has insurance. What's the struggle? Sit around and drink some beer and it would all be fine. She has been a victim of human trafficking. It is an untapped audience that we are trying.
Only in New York.
So this person has the power of the devil. And Johnny Blaze, who has wanted nothing more but to lose the power of the devil, now realizes he has a responsibility to train this person. And realizing, maybe I want that power back. So that's the conflict of the book. So if you love Ghost Rider or human trafficking,
Or Satan.
Plenty of both. I'm waiting
Can I
for
tell
someone
them what
to
other
go, Cloak and
locations-
Dagger got their powers from drugs.
Can I tell them what other book they should read if they love human trafficking? Scarlet Spider, first issue. Check it out.
all right.
Moving on.
Well, we all have our pull quotes from this panel.
Guys, there's one thing I did in San Diego, and Steve never believed me. Steve never believed me when I say nice things about him. But I think when you look at that line of books that Steve has managed for years, from Brand New Day onwards, I think it's proof of one thing. If you have an awesome editor, you bring together the best talent, and you just focus on telling good stories, you will have the best books in the industries. You don't need gimmicks, you don't need reboots, you don't need variant covers, you don't need any of that. You just need people who love comics.
Marvel, your universe.